recently. So these are going to be listed here itself, right? Whatever you want, you have accessed in the last few days, or like it's going to be the list of all the tasks that you did recently, right? Then if you see this plus symbol, right? So this plus symbol gives you the same, a lot of things that you can just get directly go and let's say if you want to upload some data, you want to create the notebook, if you want to do some sort of query, dashboards, Genie space. So directly from here itself, we can get to the specified, application that we want. Like if we want to build a, ETL pipeline, or we have to create a job, or we have to create some sort of alerts, do some sort of experiments on, machine learning, create some models, or some apps are there. Apart from this, like when we are working with, in the industry itself, so we can create different files or Git folders. Basically, like if we have got our Git account, or we are working in an agile environment, so there we generally can directly configure those Git repo in our Databricks itself. And like sometimes if we have to directly test it, there are different ways of doing this, so that we can do. And we can create or use SQL warehouse, or serving endpoints also. So endpoints are basically these are also used when we are only using, like we have to build a SQL endpoint for some of our applications. So that sometimes does our jobs very fast, like but that creates in terms of cost. Sometimes it can be little costlier, but no, most of the things like automatically configured within these endpoints itself. So those things are there. If we want to upload any of the data, so we can just go and add on this add or upload data. So when you are going to upload it, so there already some of the connections are already available that we can use. Like if we have got our some buckets are there in the Amazon S3. So within the Amazon S3, we can create those buckets, and within those buckets, we can put our raw data. And if the data is coming from the Salesforce, SQL Server, so for multiple different data sources from where we can think that the data generally we can do. So in production, or basically in the real world, these are the the mostly like I don't think, like apart from this, we can get the data from any other source. But even if like we are getting the data from in the form of files, or like some JSON files, CSV files, or other format of files, Excel files are going to be there. Apart from this, that we can also configure. But these are few of the things like which are mostly the data is coming from, like ServiceNow, Confluence. So from these could be our data sources where we are going to put our data. So Databricks has already got connections with them. The only thing is like we need to put all those connections, and we should be able to see all the data. And even if you want to see more, so they are all you can see. It's not only these ones. So I like in most of the cases, like I've used like Azure SQL, MariaDB, function, Azure Functions, then CloudFront. Apart from this, what I have used is like Azure Event Hub is mainly for when we need the data from the Azure streams, like live data. Then I have also used this Aurora MySQL. Apart from this, GitHub, Google Drive, OneDrive. From these also we can store our data and then fetch it back. Apart from this, like MySQL, and the mostly used are SharePoint, Postgres, Oracle database. But this is mostly in my case, like, right? But this Amazon S3. So this is basically S3 is what I'm going to talk about a little more on this. So apart from this, like if you want to upload any file to any of the like you have created your own file folder, so you can just click on this upload, and here if you have already created a volume, so it will be you can create within your catalog, or also you can create your volumes. So here I have already created these two volumes, so whichever volume I want to select, I can select that volume, and whatever file I wanted to pick, or even I wanted to pick file or folders, so that can be picked. But here if you see, if we have to download upload any file, so up to 20,000 files maximum I can upload, and each file size, max size, could be 5 GB only. More than 5 GB file we cannot do it. So what we generally do is, like, if we are getting more than, generally it doesn't happen, but yeah, even if we are getting, so what we can do is we can compress that file into a optimized formats. Like if I talk about Parquet format, ORC formats, so these are quite optimized with good compression ratio. Let me give you an example. In my recent case, I was having a 31 GB file, which was a CSV file. CSV file of, hello?
Yes, I'm listening, sir.
Okay. I thought like so. Okay. So I'm just giving you a scenario where I have the CSV file of 31 GB, and that I need to upload to my S3 bucket, right? But this was not allowing me. So what I did is, like, I have converted that file from CSV format to Parquet format. So the size got reduced to 1.5 G. So you can think of how much. And also when it comes to the processing, so my Parquet format is basically a it's a columnar format, so it stores the data in the form of columns. So because of this also, and compression issue, it takes very less storage. And when it comes to processing also, so this is also the faster as compared to our traditional file systems, like whether it's going to be CSV, it's going to be Excel file, or it's going to be JSON, so the or text file. So from these files, it's quite faster. So this way we can also do that. And even within a 5 GB file, it's ORC file, or Parquet file, it's going to have huge and huge volumes, like billions and billions of records can be there in a one 5 GB file. So that's a huge work. So this way we can just upload the files. And if you want to learn anything, so here a lot of videos, and like if you want to search anything, you can go to the courses, demos, tools. So everything you can get. Like if you have any sort of like doubts, or if you want to go to more in more details, so you can also go and explore these things. So these are already videos are already available, so you can go and check out whatever you want to learn from there. So there are a lot of things which are freely available on this. Then comes the workspace. So the workspace is the one where we are mainly going to like build our pipelines, and build our notebooks. uh, Mainly our stuff is going to be there. So within workspace, like generally users folder is there. You can also put, like, within this you can create your own repos, or through the Git folder also you can do that. But generally it is supposed, like, because when you are working in as you have also worked, so generally when we are working, so we have to work on a specific repo, and in development environment directly we are not going to work on our development or main branch. Like somewhere it is going to be main branch, somewhere you will find its development branch. So directly we are not supposed to work in directly in that branch, so we have to create our own feature branch. So that's why it's always advisable to to within your also like until unless you are not giving the access to your user ID. So nobody is allowed to, they can check it, but they are not allowed to do any sort of, like changes in your repo itself. Somebody can go and have a, they can have the read access, but they don't have the, modification access. So that's why you're in that scenario, your files are intact until unless that person is not an admin, right? Or doesn't have any can manage permissions on your user ID. So sometimes it only goes with the the owner who have created your account right onto the Databricks. But if you are, let's say, here we are doing it only for our you know learning purpose. So like if I'm going to create your user here, so I'm going to be the owner and I can give you the the permissions. So in that scenario, what is going to happen is like I can go and create your with your email ID. I can create your account, and then you will be able to access that. I can manage your account, but you cannot manage my account because I am the owner and you are only the user, one of the users. So in in the organization itself, you will see hundreds of these users. So basically, who are going to be the part of that particular user group, you will see all those email IDs. So within each, you will see their stuffs. So here within my files, if you see, I've created these two, notebooks. One is my test notebook, another one is PySpark airline project. So I thought like I will start, but today itself. But we'll discuss few basic things again today, and because I want to start it with both of you at the same point of time. There are few things that we have to discuss side by side when we are doing it. So within the how you are going to create it, you can just go to this right side create button, and from here you can create any folders, Git folders, notebooks, files, queries, the same thing like you have got here in the when we have
It's the starting point.
yes, here when we have went. So same thing you can also, if you want to share something, like if I wanted to share something, share some files or my files itself. So if I'm going to add your email ID, and from here itself I can give you the permission. So you see, can manage means like you can it's almost all the permissions that you have as a admin. Then we have got can edit, so you can also edit, can run, can view. So based on the like what permissions I have to specify. So in this way, like we are just taking over the control, like who is the user who can access this particular file, folders, my stuff, to what level. So from here itself we can specify. Apart from this, like these are some of the direct permissions are there, but that we can apply to user group or service principals. So basically what happens is Databricks always encourages to give permissions based on the group, not to the individual users, because individual users are going to be like it's going to be little tough to give just each and every person. But what we are doing, like we have created a group within to whomsoever we are going to add to that particular group, the permissions are automatically going to be applied to that particular person who is the part of that particular group. So in this way we can do that, right? So here, from here, as I told you, you can share your notebooks to your colleagues, to whomsoever you want to, so they will be able to have that access, what access you have provided. If you have provided edit, so they can also edit your, notebook. This way they can, work upon this. Then another important part, which is Unity Catalog, right? So this is again a very important concept in Databricks. Unity Catalog is basically a it's a centralized repository and governance tool is there, where we have to uh, uh, where basically within the Unity, when Unity catalog was not there, so what we used to have, like we have, like say, we have multiple workspaces we used to have. So they have got their own catalogs were there. So if one user wants to get the access on another database, so it was quite difficult. From where we are getting this? It is from your side, like the background noise is coming. Yeah. So once you have any questions, query, just unmute yourself, right? Okay. So what I was telling you is like Unity catalog. So Unity catalog is mainly what we have is basically like, yeah. So I was talking about this Unity catalogs, right? So when Unity catalog was not there, let me tell you first what was there. So we have got multiple workspaces they was there. So for each workspace we have to create within this workspace only, like it has got. So here itself we have to create our own schema, right? So then our database, within our database we have to create our tables. But when let's say workspace one wants to access the workspace 2, so there we have to create some sort of connections, and it was very difficult to the share the data and all those things. But now with the introduction of this Unity catalog, this is centralized governance unified layer is there, which provides centralized place to manage access or auditing. Or also we have got lineage across multiple workspaces and even on the cloud itself. So even it's not only the workspaces, but within the cloud itself, like if I'm using one cloud, let's say I have associated with AWS and I want to access it in the another let's say Azure, so there also I can do it, or I want to do it in the GCP also. I need to do some sort of connections, but that will be quite easier as compared to the previous issues. Apart from this, like as we have seen, we have got very at the granular level, we can just provide the access to each and every user based on their requirements. Here basically what we are having at the Unity catalog basically uses three layer namespace, and identify different data sets. So it is having like catalog dot schema dot table name. So you see here we have got my catalog, then within my catalog I have got my schema. So you can think of it like my schema is going to be the database that we are going to work, and within that database we can create the tables, volumes, we can create tables as well as views. So both are going to be there. So it is basically the catalog dot schema dot table name. Here I've just given my catalog, my schema, and within that I've created this table, and we have got these two volumes are there. So if I want to create any table here, from here itself I can create go and there are different ways to create the table. I can go to SQL editor, and there I can just give the SQL statement for creating the table itself, or I can create it through the code itself, like generally like creating the SQL using SQL statement. It is only for the purpose of testing, like when we are doing some sort of testing. But generally when we, because it's not going to be one or two tables if it is going to be there, and we have to do it in through agile and in multiple environments. Databricks is like data development branch, or my test branch is fine, a feature branch where I can do that. But to do the same thing in staging and production, we are not supposed to do it manually. So what we'll do, we generally create it through the code, and from the code itself we deploy the code to to different environment, to stage, to and to production, and there we run it automatically. So there we don't need to once my code is in the staging and production environment. So there, when we were deploying it at the time of deployment, so it all depends like how we are doing it through agile. Like we are doing GitHub actions, or we have created the Jenkins pipeline. So based on that, my code is going to be deployed and run. And once it is run, so I can go and execute my code in different environments, and automatically these things will be run automatically. So this is how it works. So basically, we have got the catalog, schema, and objects. Objects can be like it can be my tables, it can be my views, it can be my volumes. So this is how we generally do. So as I told you,
So we can create store procedure as well, like trigger and store procedures.
yes, we can do that. Those are also like, even we can create different models also within the objects itself. That is like everything is like what we are doing as a part of normal within the normal databases itself. The same thing we can do it. The only thing is like it's a centralized repository. So basically it has got the control, because we have got like it operates within the every data interaction to so we can enforce fine-grained access controls. Why it has been introduced, I told you, because late what we were having, we don't have the proper controls over the different workspaces. But with the introduction of this, we have got the centralized introduction, and also we can track the lineage, data lineage, like from where the data is coming from, where the data is going to. So that lineage is also got introduced. Let me show you that. Let's say I'm going to this table, right? So within this table, if you see, this is the overview, like what is my table structure. So I've got these columns, its type. If we want to add some comments, so when we are creating it, so we can also add comments or even tags or whatever column we want to mask. So this is how we can do it through the Unity catalog itself. Previously, like if you have to mask any column, so we have to give it, like for that we have to mask it by using the code itself. Now also we can do that, like we generally do that. But if we have to do it on the column level, so we can when we are creating our table itself, so we can say that okay, I want to mask this column, so that to whomsoever user, I just don't want to specify like, okay, this is my phone number, this is my email ID, or some another PI information, that is personal identifier information. So it should not be visible to all. So in that case, I can do the column masking. So this is all available as a part of my Unity catalog. Then sample data is just whatever that sample data you want to check, so we can do that. And here we have got details like who's created it, created by, storage location. Now it's default, but if you want, like it can be S3, or it can be any location that you have specifying, because it's a main managed table. So last time I told you, if you remember, like what is the difference between managed and external table. So by default, like the managed table is managed by the Databricks itself. So we don't have, so it will always go to the default storage, which is my DBFS, right?
Okay.
So if I'm specifying location when I'm creating my table, so it becomes an external table. So create generally previously we used to use external keyword when we were creating the table, and we specify the location. So my external table got created. So now also, if you want, you can specify the external keyword. Otherwise, if you are not specifying external keyword itself, but we have to specify the external location. So when I'm specifying the location, so automatically it treats that, okay, it doesn't want to store it in my default location, so it will go to the external location. So by default, that table is going to be created as external table, right? This is how it happens. So manage tables, as I told you, the Unity catalog basically manages both my metadata as well as its underlying storage lifecycle. So if I'm dropping any table, so both my metadata and storage, like data, is going to be dropped. But in external location, what happens is, like, Unity catalog only governs the or have got the access to the metadata itself, and its location is out of the management of the Unity catalog. So because it can be a different cloud provider can be there, right? Like I am storing my data in S3, I'm storing my data in Azure, or I'm storing my data in another in any of the other location. Apart, even like within my I have created my own storage, or but that is not the part of my storage location. Anything apart from storage location is going to be act as my external location, right? So if that is going to be there, so in this way it is going to work. Also, like, the main purpose of this Unity catalog is, as I told you, it's a governance tool as well as it's the identity management. Like, it basically going to centralize who are the users, groups, and service principals at whether at what level they have to get what kind of access. So at the account level, we are going to specify what kind of management they have to work upon.
I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
So under a one catalog, we create a schema.
Yeah, so multiple schemas can be created. This is what your
Okay.
question.
So under one schema, we can hold multiple tables or not.
Yeah, multiple tables, multiple views, multiple
Like
roles. Like if
like
you, I,
if we are creating APIs,
Hmm.
so we have to communicate with multiple tables like using foreign key.
Yes,
So we can do the same here.
yeah, we can do the same. We
Okay.
can do the same, but when it generally comes to these primary keys, foreign keys, and indexing, everything we can do that. Everything we can do that. But when it comes to big data, when we are dealing with the big data, so generally when we are just storing those things and creating those things, so generally it's not advisable to create primary key on each table, although we can do that, because here there might be the cases that some of the tables are going to have keys are going to be very not a single column is not going to the primary key. Multiple columns can be there, but yeah, that is available. But generally, it doesn't enforce that you cannot use them. But generally, in case when we are dealing with huge amount of data, in basically in the higher stages, like in bronze, silver, gold, there we are going to basically enforce these kind of entities wherever it is applicable. Yeah, but everything what we are doing or we have done as a part of other data systems, like whether it's going to be any of the, like, MySQL server, my MS SQL server, Postgres, any of them. Those everything we can do as a part of our schema itself. So within the catalog, we can create multiple schemas, and within one schema we can create multiple tables. So even there is no limit. Like, you can create even thousands tables in just one schema. So there is no such limit has been defined so far, right? Next, permissions. So as I told you, we have not given in, but if you want to, let's say, grant permissions, so apply tag, modify, select. So all privileges basically gives all. So based on like what this if they're all account users or you want to specify to some groups. So whatever be the groups here right now we don't have, so that's why it's not showing. But what kind of permissions you want to apply? You want to apply only select condition or modify, apply tag, all privileges, or manage. Likewise, you can do that, right? Then policies. If we, every organization has got some sort of policies, so you can create your new policy based on what kind of policy identification, principles and scopes. So those policies are going to be applied to all the users and groups, right? This is how we can do that. Then another one is, this is again one of the important thing generally we used to use, and this is very important in terms of retrieval of let's say. So this history maintains like what operations that we are doing on a table. So we have just created it on last week, so that's why after creation we haven't done any sort of operations. But if you are doing any sort of operations on this table, so every time this version is going to be get updated based on timestamp. User id and username are going to be the same, but by operations are going to be changed as per what operations we are going to do, and which notebook is doing this. So this is what all information is there. But the main point is, like, let's say I wanted to do something on this. Let's say I want to just I have created this table, and now I want to let me show you. Just copied it. So I have copied the path of this table, and then I'm going to my notebook, and here, let's say, I'm changing it to SQL or directly. These are also called as magic commands in Python. So percentile SQL, it will change to the code. Like if I'm not changing the code, and within the SQL, if I'm writing Python code, so it will give me that error. But that's why I just change it to SQL. Or now within one notebook also you can perform multiple operations. Here, if you see, we are having only Python and SQL. But if you go as this is the free version, but in the paid version, basically you will see two more options are going to be Scala and the R. So those are also as I told you, we can do that. So let's say I'm truncating this table. Table. Okay. Before truncating, let me give you. Let me just also percentile SQL and select. Let's do a select star from on this table. Generally takes this much amount of time in the free version itself, so don't take it. And it's basically having a lot of records are there in this table also. So if you see, we have got the data, and so if I'm going to do a truncate statement, so truncate means like it's going to delete its data, right? Now it's done it. If I go and okay, if I go and check this, you see, like you viewed it frequently, so it's coming at the top. So just click on this, we'll reach to this table, and now we'll go to history. So now you see one more version, right? And we did it today itself, and we have truncated the table, right? So this way we have done it. And now let's say you have truncated the table and you were not supposed to truncate the table. What you are going to do with that? So I need to get this data. Either I have to run that statement, but if I'm going to, let's say, run this statement today itself and I found it, okay, but I want the data or the state of my table which was there on version 0. Like I want to retain this, this version. So for that, we can use the restore command, right? So for restore, we have got different, for restore, either we can restore based on the version or on the timestamp cell, right? So we can use restore table name to version as of. So we can specify which version we want to specify, or based on the timestamp also. Like if we want to restore table name to timestamp as of. So either you can use this timestamp as of or version as of. So let me just do it version as of 0, right? So I'm going to use restore. Instead of truncate, I'm just giving restore table name and version. Like automatically it is coming as version as of 0, right? First, if I'm going to run this, so I'll get 0 records, right? Because it has got truncated. So we don't have any records in this table now. See, I'm going to run it again. Delta unsupported try and travel deleted file cannot be on. Okay. So basically this has been set, for 168 hours, means only 7 days, as this is again, this is the, the limitation on the free version, that if we can, restore the data only for the last 7 days, 168 hours, right? So 24 into 7, so 168 hours. So this is, that's why we are not able to do it. So what we can do is, because I have already loaded this data. So let me check. I think yes, this is for revenue estimate. Revenue. Yeah, this is the data, right? Yes. So yeah, so basically, as you see, what I'm doing is here is I'm loading this data into a Spark data frame with spark.read.format, because the data, if you see this baby names beginning 2007, it's a CSV file. Let me go and show you here within these volumes. My files test volume, right? I think it's in the test volume. Yes. So if you see in the test volumes, we have got this baby names beginning CSV file. So I wanted to read this file. It's just having 2.4 MB, right? You can see it's not a big file, but it is having more than 10,000 records. So I'm from this only what I can do is I'm going to load this file. So what I'm loading is like, because one more thing I just wanted to tell you here. First thing, like what format in Spark, basically we have got direct direct functions are given to read different file formats like spark.read.format. So also you can just use spark.read.format, and we specify like CSV, you can specify as JSON, Parquet, or different file formats. And some file formats, if they don't support, then we have to basically install for those ones. But most of the options, those are inbuilt. Then whether we want to get the header also, so within the options also, if you just going to do it spark.read.format and then going to use this load, and you can, if you don't want to use these ones, so that also can be done. And like generally in CSVs we generally have to do that options, like whatever options, apart from this we have got other more options are available. So if you want, you can go and check the CSV file options. So they are
What
listed.
if we don't provide format? It
No,
will
no,
create error or not?
format you have to specify, because
It is mandatory.
yeah, it is mandatory, because if you are not going to, so it will look for the the default format. And I think we don't storage format is there, but to read the Spark, so basically it will ask for, so it will give you an error. It will ask you to at least specify the format, because we have got different file format. It can be CSV, it can be JSON, it can be Excel, it can be Parquet, it can be ORC, RC, it can be even other file formats also, right? Then so we have defined it, like we are reading it from this location, so, and we are taking it into a data frame. So this way we have created one data frame. Then
I'm asking because if we are doing with pandas, we don't have to mention any format and all. That's why
but
I'm asking.
pandas work for very small section of files. Like when, even if
Just ask.
you are working with pandas, and maybe with single file it can work, but when we are dealing with huge, and like I'm also using pandas now in some cases, because now the pandas library also support distributed processing also.
Okay.
So in my, like I was using X. So yeah, this is one important point I came to my mind. So in Excel, what happens, like when you are using the Spark, so Spark only supports up to 15 MB of Excel files. But if you are getting more than that file, so we have to do it by creating our own customized function. So I have created my customized function, which is reading the Excel file, which is more than 15 MB file. Although it was able to read up to, like up to 50, 60 MBs file, but it was taking around, uh, 10 minutes to read, or even 5 to 10 minutes to read a 50 MB file. So 50 MB file is, when we are dealing with terabytes, petabytes of data. So 50 MB file is what? Nothing. But if it is taking this much amount of time, and I am, having such, let's say 10 to 12 different files, and I'm reading them, so my notebook just will take around an hour to read that file, right? So for that, what I did is, like I've created my customized function where I've set different optional parameters. Okay, what is going to be maximum file size? What is going to be maximum number of bytes it can store? So when I ran that, so it took in few seconds it ran. Like even for 500, 600 MB of Excel file, because directly Excel file doesn't support in Sparks. So we have to create some sort of install libraries and use that functions on top of it. So that way we were able to do it. Another point that I was making here is like basically in delta table, when we are dealing with delta table, so delta table doesn't support like directly the space name spacing. So that's why we have to convert like whatever names have got spaces. So here I did it, it you can say it's manually, but when we are having, let's say 100, 200 of columns, so that way we cannot write it this way, right? So we can create a function again, which is reading every column from the file itself, like from the data frame, and wherever it finds, any of the special characters or any of the, let's say, spaces within the name itself. So, when you are actually going to work with the real data, you will see a lot of noise in the sense like names, column names are different. And generally it comes when we are dealing with, Excel files, CSV files, those kind of scenarios you will see. So, and in some of the files like tables or files that we are dealing right now is having around 500 columns in one table. So dealing with them and writing this way, it's not a good idea. So that way we have to rename them, or we can just create a function to remove those spaces with underscore. Likewise we have to do it. So from this we have just created did some with column renamed. This is another function which is basically used to rename my column name. So I've renamed first space name to first underscore name, and then within these names what I'm doing is I'm filtering the data which is having data for more than 2007 years, and I'm selecting everything. Star means I'm selecting everything. So this is my Spark programming that I'm doing with the help of Python. And then I have specified here my table name. So if you see what is my table name, this is my catalog dot schema, and this is going to be my table name. If I want to give another table name, like I've just given the same table name as my file name, so that's why it remains. Otherwise, like if you want to specify another name, so you can specify. And then I'm writing it to the format as delta. So this is what the format, like delta format doesn't allow the names with spaces. If you are not creating any delta table, then definitely it will allow. But delta format is having, delta files are tables are having some sort of advantages, and we'll talk about that, like what all advantages they have. And then I'm overwriting it and saving it, save as table, so table name, and then displaying the results. So let me run this. So it will create that table again, right? See, a table has been created, and now where I was getting that error. Yeah, okay, that was the error for restoring, but now we can do and have a check on this table, right? So yes, like so far, any questions, any queries, please let me know.
Not, sir. I'm just asking in between the session. Someone
No,
question.
that's really fine. Yeah. Because, but what I'm suggesting you to start doing some hands-on on this.
Yes, sir. From tomorrow, I will start it.
Yeah, because
एक्चुअली सर मेरे ताऊजी एक्सपायर हो गए थे तो उस वजह से मैं नहीं कर पा रहा था
yeah,
तो मंडे से सो आई विल स्टार्ट इट
नहीं ठीक है, देखो अब ये मिसहैपनिंग होती है तो वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड.
हाँ तभी मैंने बोला सर 1 घंटे से ज्यादा का सेशन मत लेना
कोई नहीं, we'll stop in just 5 minutes. Okay, no worries. So now you can see we again got because we have created this table, right? created this table again. But if my truncate would have worked, so it shows like, okay, we have just loaded that table, inserted the records, but truncate was not working. Now if I have created this table, and if I'm going to truncate it now and then going to restore it, then it will now it will do, right? So let's try this one. It won't take much time. So here itself we can do that. Truncate. Just remove this. Truncated. Now I'm going to restore it. Now it should work. Okay, got it.
Version. You have to update the line.
Yeah, because we have got the table name is same, right? So let me show you what I can do is I can create another table with this same data set. The only thing is I'm going to change the table name to, let's say, new, right? Now if we go and check it here, we have two tables, right? See. Now let me truncate this first. Yeah. Now see, it was having around 178,355 records. Just 2.4 MB file, right? Although it doesn't have more number of columns, it just have 4 columns. But now you can see our table has got restored. So if you go and just refresh it and see the history, see 012, right? So now today itself we have done it. So now it's saying like we have restored it. So first create, then we have truncated, and then we have restored it back to the version as 0, right? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then we can go and check the lineage also. Like lineage basically shows like from where this table has got created, which by which notebook, likewise, right? Like what is going to be downstream, and you can go and check the, see from this test volume, this file, applying some transformations, and I'm creating this, right? This is how we track the lineage from where to where it is going. So these are very like, then if you want to do some sort of insights, you can do that. But and the quality, data quality, monitorings that you want to enable on this table, you can also do that. So it's based on the requirement that we generally used to do. Okay. Next is going to be my pipeline and jobs and pipeline. Although we are going to do it later, but yeah, if we have to create an ingestion pipeline, we have to do some ETL pipeline, or we have to create some jobs and orchestrate them, then we can do that. And whenever we have deployed it, so it will come out to be here as how many number of jobs that we have run, and what are the failed ones, what are the success ones. So those stats that we will see here. And if you want to rerun check everything that we can do as a part of this jobs and pipeline. Another important point comes is the compute that we are using. So here if you see, we have got only this serverless compute is there. Here in this case, you see one by one in free version. So we cannot create more than one, and it's also size is small, 2x small only. But if we want to create, like, we can create n number of clusters. So again, clusters are going to be of two types. One is my all-purpose clusters, and another one is the job cluster, right? So all-purpose clusters, we generally interactive clusters we create to, like, whenever we are doing development testing for those purpose, because as per our requirement, we can start and start them and them. Likewise, we can do that. But in production, we generally we have to use the job clusters, because job clusters, what they do is, like, they start on demand. Like, when I'm going to hit my job, when my job is going to run, at that point of time they are going to start, and once my job is done, so they will like terminate automatically. They got terminated. Otherwise, like, all purpose clusters generally are we have, when we are going to create those clusters, so at that point we have to specify, okay, after what amount of time of inactivity they are going to be got terminated. So if I put 30 minutes, so even if I'm not doing, I have started my cluster, and if I'm not doing it, so the cost is getting incurred on it for that amount of time for which active. So that's why, like, job clusters are they are cost effective in terms of this. Yeah, so these two basically the cluster type that we generally use. But yeah, for development purpose, we have to use all purpose cluster, interactive clusters. Yeah, and then I think we have got the SQL editor. So if we want to do any sort of any of the tables, we can do it directly from here. As you can see, if I need to do a query on this, so here basically it runs quite faster. Okay, yeah, we have like dropped it, but we were not able to restore it. But this is having the records, right? So you see, it is generally the faster. Like, if we have to query using a notebook, or if we are querying it directly onto the SQL editor, so it's faster. So generally, it's advisable to, when you are testing something, when you are doing, so it is better to use these SQL editors. Then we have got queries. We want to add some query, create some queries, and run those queries on somewhere else. So we can do that. We can create our query. Then dashboards. Like, if you wanted to create the dashboards directly, you can see they are very interactive dashboards. Not as interactive as we can use with the help of Power BI and Tableau, but yeah, now, like, they have got the very good dashboards that we can create from the Databricks itself. Then this is Genie space. So wherever, if you find any issues, you can use. Let me show you. This is the Genie code, which is getting added. So if you stuck somewhere, if you find that my code is not working, or I have got stuck somewhere, so you can just it's a prompt. You can just ask anything. So it will be able to help you out, right? So this way we can, this is very good in terms of, like, when we are generating our code. So if we stuck somewhere and we want the help from someone, so Genie is going to be the first point of contact to help you out to resolve your issues, right? if you want some set of alerts, so we can set alert at different labels. We'll see it later, but yeah, we can set the alerts, right? Then query history, basically it gives you like whatever we have done so far. So if you want to check the history from the starting itself, and you, let's say 10 days back, 12 days back, you ran some query and want it, and you don't have handy with you, so you can go and check in the history itself and see, okay, on that day you ran that query, and similar way you can just run it again. This is how it works. The SQL warehouse is like, if you want to create your own, now we have this one, but still again, if you want to create more, so you can create different SQL warehouses. But here in our case, we are just cannot create, as you can see, you have reached the maximum number of SQL warehouses. So if we have to create new one, first we have to delete this one, and then we can create it. Then runs, like as I told you, when we have went to the jobs and pipeline. So here it will show you like how many jobs that you are running, how many of them are successful. So those stuffs here we will see. And that data ingestion, again, what we have seen as a part of adding data. So you want to ingest data from diverse data sources. So these are the different data sources are there from where you can store and put your data, right? So this was all about like a few of the things, and these all are related to AI and ML. But yeah, if you want, you can go and explore those things. Even in the playground itself, you will find a lot of AI models are there, but those are all paid. You can see GPTs, Owns, Llama, Gamma, Meta. So there are many more. Like, and if you want to add few more models, you can just search here, and based on like your requirement, you can use them. But yeah, they are there is nothing free. Even in the paid version also, no model is free. If you wanted to have any model, then you have to pay for that, right? And AI these experiments, go and check on, and then I think this was all related to like what we have to do, what we are going to use, and generally being a data engineer, what all sort of things that we need to understand, right? So yeah, apart from this, okay, today she's not there, so okay, we'll start on next Saturday then with some more stuff. And what I will do is like I would just wanted to we'll work through from this small project is there, like which is it is having a lot of features, like starting from ingesting the data from different files, then creating some features, then also doing some sort of it's a full-fledged although it is having the data is very less, but yeah, if we talk about the project, so it's a airline project which basically find out like which flights are going to be arriving late based on their features like month, air time, carrier, destination. So multiple things we'll see as a part of this. So once we are going to develop this one by one, so you will see a lot of different concepts that we are going to learn at the same point of time. So because when we are learning all the concepts in isolation, so some of the concepts you will forget, but you will not be able to understand like, okay, why we are what was the purpose of this. So that way we can do that. But when we are doing it by doing the hands-on, so things becomes pretty much clear, right?
Yes.
Okay, so anything that you want to discuss, or whatever we have discussed today, or from the previous sessions also, if you have any doubts, please let me know.
Yes, sir.
Mm. You have doubt? Any doubt from previous
No,
session?
sir, not now.
Okay.
Once I go through with the old videos, I'll write down the whole concept I want to know. So then I'll ask.
Sure, sure. ठीक है, फिर अभी बताओ भाई, आगे बढ़े या फिर this is enough for today?
Enough, sir.
ठीक है, चलो ठीक है then. We'll meet on next
Saturday. Okay,
Saturday.
sir.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank
fine.
you, sir. Bye bye.
चलो, okay, bye bye. Have a nice day.
Same to you, sir.
Hello, Vineet ji. Hello, Vineet ji.